Okay, let's start with how it's going for the team. The last three games, I
Yeah.
mean, 3 wins, 11 goals. Just give me an idea of what the mood is like around the place at the moment. Given how it's been before, suddenly you're back in the playoff places. You're scoring goals left, right, and centre. How is it, Adam, at the minute?
Yeah, it is really positive. But I think obviously we've been watching a lot of our games back, and I don't think it's been too down with when we were losing games, we were watching our games back, and we're still doing really well. We couldn't get the goals, etc. But if you looked at our performances, they were still there. So I always found that it was going to turn. It was just a matter of time. And as much as we are scoring a lot of goals at the minute, if you actually watch our possession, out of possession plays and how much the lads are running for each other, I mean, we look like a real, to a man is really working hard, and that just allows all the other stuff to happen. We're all running for each other, we're all working hard, and then the other stuff's just now is falling into place. But personally, I knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time.
What's been particularly impressive, and I think that if you go to the game just before this winning run, I think like the second half, I told you, just especially having scored before half time, I think we thought Notts were going to really push on, and it never quite happened. But you take the game against Maidenhead as an example, from minute 1 to minute 90, there was that energy there. You were pushing forward, as you say, even out of possession in midfield, desperate to win the ball back, constantly going for more goals, and even when you're 3-4 nil up, it felt like there could be more coming. It feels like there's been that focus for the full 90 minutes. I think that's what's been so impressive of late.
Yeah, I mean, you got to sort of give credit to the manager, obviously, with working on tactics, etc. And then you also got to give it to the lads themselves of taking responsibility on to implement it on the pitch, because it's not an easy thing to do. But as I said, to a man, they're starting, because obviously we're watching a lot of it back. To a man, they're starting to learn, and if you're not learning, you're sort of dying. So I think the lads are learning and improving game by game, and you're seeing that in the way they press, in the way they attack. Now you're starting to see it flow more fluently, because we are all learning as a team, and we are trying to progress as a team, and we look like a team, and that's the difference. It's not There's no individuals out there, and it just shows in the performance how tight we are as a group.
Yeah, it's a good time to reach a bit of a peak as well, isn't it? To get into this goal scoring form. And the number of goals is important as well, because goal difference could prove important given how tight it is in the table. We hope it won't do, but scoring all those goals could be really important. And doing it at this time, getting this 3 game winning run, just as you're getting into the home straight, feels really significant. Does it to you?
Yeah, it does. As I said, it just gives the team the confidence to know that we are doing the right things. And if we carry on doing that, the goals will come, but also, the performances will come. And I find if you focus on the process rather than the outcome, you're always going to be okay. And I think our process on how we're trying to improve daily and tactically, now we're starting to find the outcome taking care of itself.
And what about you? Because it pretty much since Ian Birchnell arrived, you've been back in the first team. When he arrived, how much did you feel like maybe here's a fresh start for me? Maybe here's a fresh opportunity, a new man who's picking the team, and an opportunity for you to get into the team. Is that how you felt? 'Cause if so, it feels like you've really grasped it.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, I probably owe the fans an apology, because I think it's easy to go and take the easier option of going out on loan at the start of the season. I do apologise to them for that. I think when you see a player, you want to see them fully committed. You don't want to see them try and run away and take the easy option. And that sort of 100% accountability sort of falls on myself. But the only way I could sort of earn the trust back is by performances with the fans. I had to earn the trust back with the players. Train hard, be there for them, and sort of do some self-reflecting, which I did, and I earned their trust back. Trying to earn the fans' trust back just by putting in performance. That's the only way I'm going to do it. And got my head down and worked hard. And as you say, the new manager sort of arised opportunities for me, which was nice, but it didn't go away from me sort of wanting to be the person that I wanted to be first of all, because I knew then the performances were going to come personally once I did get the opportunity. And it was nice, of course, a new manager allows new opportunities, which is great. But I knew those performances were coming because of what I put in place for myself and how I learnt from the experiences early on in the season.
Why do you use that word, the word trust? Why do you feel like you need to sort of get trust?
I feel like when you do try and I feel like when you do try and leave, I felt like I tried to take the easy option out of it, and the easy option is going as trying to get a lot. I think a lot of players do it in the game. They try and take the easy option rather than having time just to self-reflect and saying, are you given the performances that you should to the badge or to the football club? And I wasn't given the performance. If I look back to the start of the season, and I can be honest about that. I can sort of be held responsible for that, and I didn't deserve to play. And that's where if you can be honest with yourself and take that on your shoulders, then it actually makes it easier for you to sort of progress and improve and move forward with that. And that's why I use the word trust, because I think if you have the lads trust you as a person, knowing you're going to be there for them on and off the pitch, then your relationship on the pitch will be much better. So I tried to earn firstly the players and then the staff, and now I'm trying to earn the fans' trust back. But as I said, with the fans, it's only going to be by seeing what I do on the pitch. So I'm trying to bring my A game every game to show that I am committed to this football club.
And how much easier is that now that you're having a good long run in the team as well as you are at the minute?
Yeah, no, it's great. Obviously, then you get to build and work on performances, on improving, and also playing centre of left of a free, back free. It also just gives you another, just more stuff to learn. It's given me another sort of angles to my game which I need to think about and improve. It's just putting you in different situations than you would be if I was playing the standard fullback, or that's you've been doing it for so many years. But to be put in a different position, it's nice. It's testing. It's asking questions of me, which I enjoy.
How much have you enjoyed that relationship with Ian Birchdale, the new manager coming in, or head coach I should say, which is clearly very at home on the training ground? That's where he sees his strength. How much are you sort of benefiting from him at the moment?
Yeah, no, I think I've always played well with a calming figure on the side. As much as sometimes you do need an ear bash, and sometimes you don't. And I think that combination of knowing when to maybe shout and when not to from the sides is a great attribute to have, because it allowed, for me personally, and I'm sure the other lads, it allows you to think about your passes without, thinking beforehand that something could be, maybe shouted. It's just nice to have a calm personnel when we are trying to play football, to be on the sidelines, a calm head, a thoughtful head on the sidelines, thinking tactically and how we're going to, if something isn't working at half-time, how we're actually going to come out and change it if it is going right, and if it's going right, telling us what we're doing right, to obviously then to go and enforce more of that in the second half. So no, it's been very detailed, very efficient, and personally I've been enjoying it.
And so just finally, having come to Notts County to get your love back for the game, you're now in the team, you're clearly very focused and determined, you're winning matches, the team's scoring loads of goals. Do you feel that love for the game again?
Yeah, I would say my passion and sort of my habits and my standards have come back, and I'm keeping very level headed at the minute, because we have got a job to do. And as much as I'm loving being in the team, playing every game at the minute, I've only got one eye, and that's sort of on promotion for this team and for the lads. So I'm trying to keep level headed. Yes, we are doing very well, we're in form, etc. But my eye sort of is not coming off sort of my goal that I've had in my head of where my season sort of wants to go now. So I'm saying sort of grounded. Yes, I'm very happy. I could obviously be ecstatic, but no. I for me personally, I need to keep very very grounded, very level headed, because we've still got very important games coming up, and for me, I need to be sort of focused on getting us promotion.
Good man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no, it has. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, hi there, Adam. Sorry I didn't say anything to
No,
begin
that's
with.
okay.
I thought you'd started the interview.
No, it's all right. No problem. Yeah.
How are you doing, pal? You well?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you. Yourself?
Good stuff. Yeah, very well, thank you. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Oh, thank you. It's just a few follow-up questions really, based
Yeah.
on what the back of David has asked really. But yeah, I mean, it's so refreshing to hear a player speak so open and honestly about how they feel like their role within the club. Some things they might not have done that well in the past, or things to reflect on. Just how important is it to you that you do have that open and honest approach?
Yeah, I mean, we were having this conversation just before the interview sort of started, and I said that I feel, obviously being a year out of the game, there isn't enough spoken on sort of, players sort of, they're always, I got brought up in a system, show no weakness and all, everything else that comes with it. But there's got to be a time when, if you are out of the game for maybe a year, when you didn't think that was going to happen suddenly, there needs to be sort of more support and more done in the game that doesn't really get highlighted. But for me, it's being open and honest only comes from me trying to work on myself and everything that comes from hardship. But you got to go through the hardship to sort of come out the other side and be willing to be open to grow and to learn from it. So on that front, it's easier for me to be open, but that's coming from a place of experiences rather than it's, if you were just everything was going right the whole time, it may have a different view on it.
And your hope is that by sharing your experience of having that time out of the game, is that you could potentially help other players that might find themselves in that position with looking around for support, say?
Yeah, and that's what I've been done. I made it clear to myself that if I ever got, I didn't think I was going to get back in the game, but if I did get back into the game, I was making it sort of my goal to the young lads, because obviously the older lads are more set in the ways. It's harder to get through to them, but the younger generation are eagle-eyed, and I was going to make it my job to talk to them and make sure that if when the hardships will come in football, and there's no hiding away from that, you will get times where it's gonna be hard, that I'm just a phone call away, because I did find that there's not much of that when you're not there, you're alone, and yes, there are things in place that are to help you, but to be there for these lads, knowing they've got someone who isn't their friends or their family which they can ring, where they can just have a conversation with someone who cares about them from a different angle, is nice for me. And I always say to them, I'm not wanting anything from it. There's no ulterior motive behind it. And I think when you say that to them, because there are probably a lot of people wanting to take advantage of footballers or have an ulterior motive behind it, having me just feel like I'm there for them, just to have a normal conversation with, it makes me proud that I've grown in that way over the past year and from those hardships. Yeah.
And apologies if you already mentioned this before I joined the call, but I think you might have.
We were just having a general chit chat before, which was nice. But yeah,
great stuff.
Yeah,
awesome. I was just going to say, I don't want to dwell it too much or too much detail, but what were some of the most difficult phases of that period of being out of football, potentially without that support that you felt you could have needed?
I think the probably difficult things is you find yourself maybe more isolated than you should be. You go and do all the stuff that you need to do, don't get me wrong, physically, but then at the end of the day, you're still there with your partner takes the load, etc. She sees what you're going through, etc. I just find, like, obviously you'd love to talk to her through it a lot, but she sees it, and I find it a different angle or a different person that you can speak to air what you would need to just maybe something simple than just have a normal conversation with someone that that is not so close to you, that they might not understand it, especially in football. And that's why I mentioned me having the conversation with them is much better than someone who's an accountant or your partner or your family, because football's a totally different industry individually, to other, every sport's different, but a footballer knows how a footballer thinks, and I think if you give that support, you know what they're going through, and that's a total different beast than, my missus, and her work is totally different to football and the strains and the stresses that come with that, and I've been through that, so it's easier for me to relate if they went through that themselves. But that's what I went through, but it did make me better. So it's the good and the bad. It's the good and the bad because it's made me grow as a person. Yeah.
That's lovely to hear, and you say you have these conversations with the younger players continuously. How have they reacted to some of the chats you have? Because I can imagine that it's not all butterflies and rainbows sort of thing. You say saying that to them could be a little bit like whoa, but like you say, it really helps them in the long run to be a bit more level-headed and to expect the unexpected in some cases.
Yeah, no, they take it on board, and this is where it's great because obviously I used to be that young. Don't get me wrong, I still feel young in the mind, but I used to be that young player, that's just open-eyed, wanted to listen to everything, and they do listen, and that's why I think it's so important of what you're telling them and how, and as I've said before, how you act and how you are as a person, because if you're not acting that way, but you're telling them to be that way, how can you justify what you're saying to them? If you're gonna tell them to be a certain way, and act a certain way and respect and be respectful, you need to be respectful, and you need to be kind to people, and you need to be that person yourself. So I find that if I'm that person and I can show them that I'm that person, they will take it more in and believe you more, and take it on board, basically take it on board by seeing it.
And then, of course, fast forward a few months. Notts County came a corner. It took a little bit of time to get it going, but it's now, of course, a mainstay in the team. Played a lot under Ian Birch. I'm just interested from having so kind of like that period of time out of football to then all of a sudden coming into one of the most hectic schedules I think any football club's ever seen ever, with the amount of midweek games that you've had. How have you found that transition and playing every Saturday, Tuesday?
That's the easy bit for me. My body's still in really good shape, thankfully. I feel like the Saturday, Tuesdays is not a problem. I do everything right away from the game, which I'm sure a lot of people do, but I make sure I stay on top of that. So Saturday, Tuesdays is what we're paid to do. It's what professionally we need to be able to do. And regardless whether we had it for the next year, it's what something mentally you just have to get your head round, and then also have the discipline to do all the right things away from the games, to know that you're ready to go again on the following game, because it only takes one time you don't do your yoga or eat the right food, or have a 2-day snack out or binge, and that's an injury, and then you're missing 6-7 games. So for me, it is tiring, don't get me wrong, but mentally, if you're always on the other side of the food and the eating and the sleeping, I find it easier to get through these Saturday, Tuesdays.
Yeah, if you stay on top of that, kind of like the rest of it comes naturally, sort of.
Yeah,
great stuff. And on the pitch as well. I mean, I don't want to speak or anything too soon or hype anything up too much, but of course, like 3 wins in a row under Ian Birch now. The big one against Sutton, and 2 big wins against Barnet and Maidenhead. Is there a bit of a sense among the players that things are starting to click now, and that you are, as I think I heard you mention with David, are hitting form just at the right time heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's obviously the best time to sort of be hitting form, don't get me wrong, but as I said, it has been coming. It's just we haven't executed maybe the final part of it. So it is nice to know, but we still do have a long way to get, and we got so many weeks and training sessions and games still to improve. So as I said, there's no real time to get too jubilated on 3 wins, etc. I still think it's about improving and having one eye on the next game, don't get me wrong, but also staying focused where we're not sort of patting each other on the back. The job is far from done.
Yeah, I was going to say, in terms of the performances as well, more than anything, it seemed that in just before this run as well, performances were starting to get better and better, but it was just, like you say, that final part, getting over the line and translating those strong performances into results. How much of a relief is it among the squad that, you know, that they're kind of going hand in hand now? You're playing well and you're getting what you deserve in the team.
Yeah, I think the nice thing is to see is that when you are winning games and starting to score more, the relaxation sort of comes into it, and you know the odd set piece or something that may go in, it doesn't take as much hardship on the lads because we're doing so much things well throughout the rest of the game now, where it's taken care of. You know, if they do get one chance and they take it, it's not our lulls of oh no, everything's sort of you know, grey and gloomy. No, we are doing the right things, and it only took, you know, us to, you know, start scoring goals. I know it's an easy thing to say, but us to start scoring goals to knit it all together, because it was on the edge of, you know, really good performances, but not getting the 3 points or beating teams. So now we're starting to do it. Hopefully, we carry on doing it.
And looking ahead, like you say, the job's not done yet, and there's another big game against Bromley at the weekend. What are you expecting from that one?
I expect it's going to be another tough game. You know, with us playing well, scoring freely, also not conceding many at the back now. You know, you could find them sitting off, but to be honest, it's all about us. And I always speak about not worrying about the outcome, because the way we're learning and implementing what strategies we need to do in the game, it's nice to see the progress. And if we focus on that and focus on our tactics, you know, teams are going to have to start to worry about us. So personally, you know, I haven't got much thought on Bromley. I just know that if we show up as a team, it's going to be very difficult for them.
And just finally, for me, like you say, with them on the back of a few results, confidence starts to build, and morale's in a good place at the moment. From your point of view, is there a sense that there's confidence that you can get promoted this season?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you've seen the whole team work so hard throughout the season, and have, you know, ups and downs, being up near the top and then dropping away, it feels like there's still, you know, there's something there we've dropped away and now we've come back. You know, it feels like it's going to be, you know, one of those seasons where, you know, if we rifle together, something amazing could happen, and you can take all those up and downs, and, you know, it will be stuff that players remember for the rest of their careers, and, you know, and beyond. So it's sort of been that season where it's been there and then it's come away. So, you know, I'm hoping it goes back the other way. But as I said, I'm not looking too far forward, but trying to stay focused as much as I can to deliver my performance for these lads and give what they deserve.